Hello everyone and welcome to this edition of the Jason Hagholm Sports Experience. Of course am your host Jason Hagholm, and I guess you're wondering, what am I going to talk about today? Oh, how about let's talk about the biggest game of the year in terms of the National Football League, the Super Bowl, in what was, I thought, to be one of the best Super Bowls to have happened over the last 5 years. You had basically everything. You had drama to the last second, star appeal, a strong offense versus a strong defense, multiple storylines going into the game. So I was as excited, I should say, if I can get it out there, as I've been for a Super Bowl in many years. And let's just say the one thing I love about the Super Bowl the past couple years has been the likes of guys that you never know their name until the Super Bowl, coming out of their way and making the big plays. And for the Seahawks on Sunday, that would definitely be Chris Matthews, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber wide receiver, who went out of his way to almost absolutely thwart all the plans of the New England Patriots having a Super Bowl trophy in their locker room, which would be, I believe, their fourth one, and their fourth one with Tom Brady at the helm. So that was ruined basically by Chris Matthews, having his impressive vertical leap, a strong route running ability. And people were wondering where he came from. But, I mean, I've seen this guy play in the CFL. I mean, he was Rookie of the Year his first year with the Blue Bombers back a couple years ago. So, I mean, I wasn't totally surprised. But, I mean, that's the one thing I love, is the guys coming out making plays. I mean, your first big catch is the first big play for the Seahawks in that game is a big pass downfield. And your second catch ever in the NFL is a touchdown in the Super Bowl. So I don't think it could get any better for Chris Matthews than that. He also had another big catch downfield, but then for some reason you didn't see him anymore, and that would be because I think the Patriots realized, hey, we got to shut this guy down. So who are going to put on him? Brandon Browner, a guy that probably played against him a couple of times back when Brandon Browner was on the Calgary Stampeders in the CFL. So I think the CFL got a lot of good marketability out of this game. I mean, of course, now everyone's going to talk about the final play call after the Patriots had gone up, taken the lead. Seahawks drove down the field, and Jermaine Kearse, first of all, with an amazing catch, one of the likes of the Tyrees or your Lynn Swans, with the ball juggling, hitting his feet, and he grabs it in. I thought at first instantly, and I shouted this out with a bunch of the people I was watching with, that's the Antonio Freeman play, which we remember was the Packers Vikings Monday night game back in 2000. So we haven't seen a catch that crazy. It's in about 15 years, so that was wild to see, and it looked like the Seahawks had all the momentum in the world to come out and steal this victory from the Patriots. And Brady even had the look on the sideline like, this is the Tyree and the Manningham catches all over again. I was having visions of Super Bowl 42 in that same building, but the Seahawks decide not to run the football with Marshawn Lynch, a man they're going to make the richest running back in the National Football League, and they decide a slant route, which gets intercepted by Malcolm Brown, a rookie cornerback for the Patriots, to seal the victory in what was a thrilling Super Bowl. I mean, I think you also have to give credit to Brady and his ability to fight back, because there was moments after the Doug Baldwin touchdown, it looked like the Patriots are going to get quite shut down, that the Seahawks defense was getting good pass rush on him, but Brady was able to find ways, have quick release, and hit his big receivers and his quick, speedy receivers, if I can say that, in Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman, who also, let's give him some credit. He took a huge hit from Cam Chancellor on that big game-winning drive attempt, and he caught the game-winning touchdown for the Patriots. So, I mean, shout out to him. But, I mean, I was really impressed with Brady. This may be one of the more Super Bowls where I was beyond impressed with Tom Brady. I know a lot of people also don't like Tom Brady, but I think we have to give him his due. A lot of people are saying, well, he's got to be the greatest quarterback of all time. I still can't say that, because Joe Montana, to me, always will be the greatest quarterback of all time, because every time a championship was on the line, the man came through in the clutch. and would go out a champion, whereas Brady's had 2 kicks at the can where he did not get the job done. Whatever miraculous circumstances it may be, he didn't walk away with the Lombardi trophies back at Super Bowl 42 and Super Bowl 46. So you have that, and I was just impressed with him, though. I thought he managed the game well. I thought the Patriots did a great job of having their matchups there and outmatching the Seahawks, because the Seahawks tried to cover Rob Gronkowski with a linebacker. That is not a smart strategy. You need a bunch of guys to double team, jam him off the line, and that's something that didn't happen, and Gronk was able to get away and have a pretty nice day for himself. The Seahawks, when they started out in that game, they started out a little rough, but after that first Chris Matthews catch, they got rolling. They had the touchdown. I mean, the one thing about the Seahawks losing this game on that controversial call, I mean, let's face it, they probably should have ran with Marshawn Lynch on the goal line there. I think everyone knew they should have. But the one thing now about them losing this game is that we will definitely not remember the gutsy call by Pete Carroll before halftime to go for it instead of take points in a field goal. So, I mean, that's going to be bad for Pete Carroll, and a lot of people are giving Pete Carroll credit, or discredit, I should say, for, not making Lynch run the ball. But his logic was that they were going to throw it there, and if it was incomplete, they had a timeout to burn, or if there was a catch and they were stopped short, they had a timeout to burn, and they would have then gone to Lynch on 3rd down. But, I mean, it is what it is. It was a great read by Brown to make the pick. I mean, the Seahawks will be back, in my opinion, because this is a team that's going to have, while they've had a couple pieces go off, like defensively as players, and now some coaching staff members leave the team, they find ways to make it work, as long as they keep, your Bennett's and your Cliff Avrils, and that was a big reason I think the pass rush towards those end for the Seahawks diminished, as Averill had to leave the game with a concussion. I think they'll find those guys that'll still be back, in your Shermans and your Cam Chancellors and what have you. They're going to re-sign Russell Wilson, obviously, and they're going to re-sign Marshawn Lynch, which is much needed. I think the Seahawks will be back. I think if we don't ever see the Patriots again in the Super Bowl, which I think is going to be really, really hard not to say, but I think that was the definite Super Bowl that you'd want to remember them, because it looked like it was all over for them, and they came out and got the job done. And what a miraculous Super Bowl. Great job by them. I mean, Belichick was a master, like I said. He had routes scouted, he had matchups. That's all how the Patriots work, matchups. And they had the best matchups in that game, putting their top tight end against the linebackers of the Seahawks, when you know that Gronk has speed and power and is going to be able to beat them off the line, and that those linebackers aren't really used to being in coverage scenarios. So shout out to Bill Belichick for that as well. Good job with maybe not having a lot of big passes downfield, but the short yardage worked because Edelman and Amendola were very quick and elusive guys, and also let Brandon LaFell be wide open to make some big plays for him too. So, I mean, all in all, thought it was a fantastic Super Bowl. We're not going to make this too long. This is all we really need to say. I may later in the week get into the depths of some of the play calls that had happened with some guests that I'm trying to line up for this week. But all in all, I think it was a fantastic Super Bowl. Do I think Pete Carroll and the Seahawks are going to have a long offseason? Absolutely. But do I think they should be totally criticized as the worst play call in Super Bowl history? I don't think so. I think we've seen worse plays called before in certain scenarios. I mean, I think to say that was the worst, maybe in the, like, it was 10 seconds left or what have you in the game, but I mean, Neil O'Donnell had some of the worst passes and plays ever lined up because he couldn't read a route, and had Larry Brown make the easiest interceptions you've ever seen in your life in Super Bowl 30 with the Cowboys and the Steelers, and in Arizona as well. So I don't think we should criticize them for that. It was definitely, maybe they definitely probably should have had Lynch, but I don't think it's the worst call of all time. I think we should definitely get the criticism off of that. I think it's going to be a long offseason for them, but I think the Seahawks, like I said, know how to rebuild. And they just got to find ways to get back. And they're lucky for them. The only team they really got to worry about now in that division is the Arizona Cardinals in the same stadium they played in. So they got the strong pieces offensively and defensively left for that team for a good period of time. So I think the Seahawks will be back. I'm not too concerned about them. They'll be back. Let's face it, folks. They'll be back. Marshawn Lynch will be back. I mean, a lot of people wanted to be like, oh, well, he never talked to the media. I mean, that's something maybe I'll say for another day. But, I mean, I thought it was total crap that's how we had to force him to come out and talk to the media. And in reality, he did. Sure, it was in a weird way, but he did. And you can't make someone do something they don't want to do. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So if you have your comments on the Super Bowl, leave them below. Please share this podcast and videos. We got some great guests lined up for the weeks to come. And that's going to do it for now. That's it. Peace out and have a good day.